Now for 2024, Toyota decided to bring out a completely new trim level for the Toyota Tacoma. And here we have it. This is the Tacoma Trailhunter. It's only a few $100s cheaper than the TRD Pro. So my question is, why would you choose this one? First of all, I think it looks great. It has a very beefy stance to it, just 3.5 inches wider than a normal Tacoma. It also sits a little bit higher. We have the off-road wheels and tires here with the beautiful 18-inch bronze wheels. So what we're gonna do in this video is, of course, have a look. Walk around this entire design from a front, side, rear, the interior, and then we're gonna take this for a drive. Now, before we go in and talk about the beautiful design in this oxide bronze metallic for the 2024 Trailhunter, let's see what's powering this thing. So let's pop the hood here and check out this 2.4 liter iForce Max turbo hybrid assist. You have 326 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque, 8-speed automatic, 4-wheel drive, of course. You can switch it to 4-wheel high, 4-wheel low. You can also have it set in 2-wheel drive. 0 to 60 takes about 6 seconds. Fuel economy comes in at 22 city, 24 highway. Not the best fuel economy here. I'm averaging right now, I've been driving it for a few days, about 17. If I take it easy, it goes down to 15 if I step on it. And the price for this one is $64,395. Now the payload comes in at 1,425 pounds. And you can tow up to 6,000 pounds with this. Now what makes the Trailhunter special, you have old man EMU shocks, ARB utility bar in the bed, as you can see back there. You also have Rigid Industries dual color LED fog lights. You can switch them between white and yellow in the front end. Looks very, very cool. And you have this as well, the low mounted air intake. So this is not a snorkel, and this makes a lot of noise when, as soon as you step on the gas, it sounds like Darth Vader is on the passenger side. The front end gets a 2-inch lift. You can see just how high it sits. It looks very cool. The rear end is lifted 1.5 inches thanks to the Trailhunter specific shocks and springs. Then you have a 3.5 inch wider body overall thanks to these big plastic pieces right here that stick out very far in the front and in the rear, making it feel super planted on the ground. And in the front end you have proper steel skid plates instead of just aluminum skid plates. So this is a proper off-roader. So with that said, let's close the hood and let's go into a deep dive in this with this design. So check it out, the front end design. First of all, what I love about the Trailhunter and the TRD Pro is that we do thankfully get the LED indicators, something that you don't have on the TRD Off-Road, which I think it's sort of cheap by Toyota to do that. I want to have this LED in all new Toyotas. You have the Heritage Bridge, the Heritage Grill, not the bridge, right here in bronze as well. You can see that everything here is completely functional and open. I like that as well. Front mounted camera is located right here. Further down low, you do have the radar for the adaptive cruise control located in this area, in addition to some more openings. And these are the rigid fog lights down here. Let's see if we can turn those on. And I can show you just the yellow or amber light that we have for them, because these turn off automatically after a while. So you have these fog light button right here. You can see how it switches from white to amber right there. So let's keep it in amber because I think that just looks so much cooler than having it in white. So now you can see light up amber here, and I do think it looks beautiful. In addition to those lights and the headlights, you also have the TRD 20-inch light bar in the front end, and this only works when you have the high beams on, so you can't misuse that and just have that on and blind everybody in front of you. Now looking at the hood here, very aggressive styling for the hood. We have this crease going in on, of course, both sides, and you have the iForce Max badge here on the side in chrome. I would want to have this be in gloss black, similar to what we have on the Trailhunter badge down there. Just chrome for me in this case, I feel like it doesn't suit this truck. I want to have it to be blacked out. One thing I don't really like about the new Tacomas is this section here. I would want to see this be open so we have some functionality for these plastic pieces right underneath the headlights. But overall, I think Toyota is coming to, they're finding their identity with this new design language that they have with the Tundra, the Sequoia, and now the Tacoma as well. And I do think this one, in its oxide bronze metallic, look very, very cool. I also like that we have a sort of a contrasting piece here with this plastic piece. And of course, you have the steel skid plate right there. So this is properly covered and protected underneath. Now coming around to the side view of the new 2024 Trailhunter, you can see just how high up it is. With the 2.5-inch lift in the front end, you have 1.5-inch lift in the rear, and it sits properly nice. This wheel and tire setup that we have right here, this is not something I would ever switch out because I think it looks so good with the bronze 18-inch wheels. You do have the Goodyear Wrangler off-road tires here as well. It just looks great, and you have Trailhunter specific control arms right there. And overall, with the wider stance that we have here, 3.5 inches wider, with these plastic pieces going both in the front and in the rear, it just sits really nicely on the ground and it feels planted. It feels a lot beefier than a normal Tacoma. And then we have this piece right here. As I said, this is not a snorkel. This is just a high mounted air intake, and it sounds, you can definitely hear the turbos a lot when you're stepping out. I kind of like it, but if you were to own this car, I can sort of understand if that were to get old after a while, but I just like the turbo noises that we have here. Now we do have proper skid plate or rock sliders here at the bottom as well, looking very, very cool and functional. And this ARB utility rack in the bed. This is, I don't know if I would keep this because I would probably want to have the full functionality of the entire bed and not have it be covered up on top like that. There are a lot of LEDs all around this truck. You can see that we do have LEDs integrated in the side of the bed protection up top here, and these light up at night and sort of helps you see what's going on around the truck. Look at this beautiful color here. This is by far 100% the color that I would choose for my Trailhunter if I were to buy one of these. Now coming around to the back, again, full LED taillights on for both the indicators and the regular brake lights here, looking very nice. iForce Max badge, Tacoma stamped into the tailgate here. Full size spare underneath, in addition to this ABR tow hooks, red ones in the back specific for the Trailhunter, and we also have a specific bumper here as well, looking very nice with the integrated parking sensors all across. If we fold down this power assisted tailgate, you just press this button right here. I personally don't really get power assisted tailgates because it just takes longer than just folding it up and down by yourself. But in here we do have more LEDs, tie downs as well, 12-volt outlet right there. In addition to, I do believe we have the air compressor. Yes, we do have the air compressor integrated in the bed back here as well, in addition to this protective mat that we have on the floor. So let's fold this back up, and we use the same button right there on the side, and you can see that it slowly folds back up. We do have the rear mounted camera located right here, in addition to, yes, another LED on the left side. Overall, let me know what you think about this design. Would you buy this one, considering that this is, I do think it's only about $300 or $400 less expensive than the TRD Pro. So which one would you pick? Would you pick this one or the TRD Pro? Personally, I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I think this looks a little better with the wheel and tire setup than the TRD Pro. But again, the TRD Pro has such a good track record, so you kind of already know what you're getting with that model. So it's a difficult choice. So with that said, let's jump in and check out this interior with this absolutely oversized infotainment screen that we have inside here. Now the first thing you notice when you open up any new Tacoma is going to be this oversized massive 14-inch TV that we have on the dash. Before we talk about that, let's have a look at the door panel here. Beautifully done, specific for the Trailhunter. We have the Trailhunter logo right there, leather wrapped with the bronze contrast stitching going inside here. Feels very rugged and high quality for the door handle and the window controls here, in addition to the mirror adjustments. You have some storage in the middle and a couple of cup holders down here, looking beautiful. I have a 10-speaker, I do believe it's a 10-speaker JBL sound system. A very cool feature about this sound system I'm going to show you in just a minute has to do with this interior as well. Power assisted seats. Now the thing with the seats here, they look beautiful. They are heated and ventilated, but one thing I would like to do here is definitely put a Trailhunter logo right here or in the backrest to make it feel a little bit more special. They look nice with the bronze or golden contrast stitching here and piping. Looks very cool, but I was just missing the logo somewhere on the seat. So with that said, let's jump in here and fire this beast up, and let's start with the gauge cluster and let's see what this is all about. 12.3 inches, and this is fully customizable, which I like. It also changes when you switch up the drive modes here. You can see we have Eco, Normal, and Sport. I'm not sure why we need to have a Sport drive mode for this specific one, and off-road mode would be better, but we can also switch those out with this multi-terrain select right here. We're going to show you that in a minute. Now, first of all, this gauge cluster, fully customizable. You can just customize whatever you want here. Hold this OK button right there, and you can switch out what you want to have in the middle section. First of all, we can have maybe driver support, sounds good. If you want to switch out the right side, you can switch that out as well to have whatever information you want. We can have probably driver info or tire pressure, pitch and roll, sounds good to me. Now go to the left side. I like to have it on this, the turbo gauge. So you can customize every single part, the 3 different small displays. You can have whatever you want in each section. I think that's great. I also love that we have it inside of this beautiful housing, even though this is hard touch material up here. I would like to see this for $62,000. I would like to see this be a little soft touch material up here. Now moving on to the infotainment screen. I mean, this to me, this is just way too big. This is overkill size. It doesn't flow with anything in the interior. It definitely looks like a big TV that I have right in front of me all the time. And I just want to have this be maybe an 8-inch or something like that. I don't need the 14-inch. To me, personally, it just looks too big, but I know a lot of people like big screens in cars. So I guess it works for some people. If there were an option to have this be sort of an 8-inch, I would pay extra to have a smaller screen in my Tacoma. That's just my preference. Now the cool thing about this, the speaker system that I talked about earlier, is you see this speaker up here. This is actually a portable Bluetooth speaker. So you can take this out and just take it when you're camping to the beach or whatever you want, and then once you put it back, it's gonna slide right in and feels very, much integrated in the dash. It's also, of course, going to charge while it sits up there. So that's pretty cool. Like that we have the heritage badge here for the Toyota with the bronze specific for the Trailhunter. Some storage up here in addition to some very industrial looking vents on both sides, both the driver and the passenger over there. Proper size glove box here as well. Really big glove box, in fact. Close that back up. We have some vents here, as you can see, in line with the rest of the horizontal layout that we have in the interior. Love these knobs and dials that we have for the climate settings. It's just beautiful to see this in 2024. I love it. Super rugged. Just look at the texture on these things. Looks very industrial and super functional. Extremely easy to just figure out what you want to adjust when you're driving this on the highway. You don't have to look down. You can certainly feel your way to what's going on here. A couple of more buttons and toggles for the climate settings. Heated and ventilated seats right here in 3 different levels. I'm going to keep the heated seat on. It's very hot when you have it on the 3rd level right here. It gets very warm, so I'm going to keep it on 1. That's enough for me. Volume knob as well, super rugged, looking beautiful. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto comes with this Tacoma. Wireless charger down here is sort of rubberized. Your phone is not going to slide anywhere because you also have this little shelf here. Hold it in place when you go on off-road trails. Couple of USBs right there, and very hard to access 12-volt cigarette outlet below the USBs. Now, putting it into reverse, the camera system in this Tacoma is just absolutely fantastic. Trajectory lines, of course, 360 view, and you can switch. You see just how many camera buttons or views you have down here. Like the front wheels, you have the rear wheels as well, so you can see exactly where the wheels are. Not sure what this is. This is the bed camera right here, or you can go into full 360 view, which is very, very cool because it is your specific Tacoma here, the same color. And if we go into this, you can see the pitch and roll here as well, in addition to the wheel cameras and the rear camera here. So everything you need. You never have to worry about, hitting a big rock and scratch up your wheels when you have a camera system like this. Now you can also click this camera button right here. That is going to pop up this full 360 view. So it just scans everything around the truck to show you exactly how the truck is positioned. Putting it back into park, we have the parking brake right here, and this is of course all the settings for the drive modes. Tow haul drive modes, we talked about those: sport, normal, and eco. I do like the graphics that we get there. And we can also put it into 4-wheel high and go into multi-terrain select. And here is where we get all these cool drive modes for off-road use. So we have auto, dirt, sand, mud, and also deep snow. Beautiful animations again. And this is only, I do think multi-terrain select is only available when you have it in 4-wheel high. If we go into 2-wheel drive, you can see that MTS unavailable. So you need to have it in 4-wheel high at least to be able to select these settings for multi-terrain select. You have the crawl mode down here as well. In addition to the trailer, backup guide, the camera button, the locking rear differential, and last but not least, you have the disconnecting front sway bar to have more articulation for the front axle. Great when you do some rock crawling and want to have more space for the wheels to move up and down in the front end. 2 cup holders back here. Nicely wrapped armrest. If we open this up, you can see we do have some storage down here. No USBs or any sort of connections, not even an LED. I was expecting to see an LED at least, because we have so many around the truck on the exterior that I want to see an LED back here. We talked about the seats already. They're beautiful, heated, ventilated. I do wish we had a logo on the backrest. Up top, we have this rear view mirror being either a regular mirror like this, or you can have it in the camera mode. We don't have a sunroof up top, thankfully. This is great. I want to see more cars with no sunroofs because I don't like them personally, but that's just my opinion. You can open the window back there with this button. And last but not least, up here you have this storage for your shades. Looking at the steering wheel, as I said, you have the controls for customizing the screen right here on the left side, in addition to some volume buttons and the voice command. The cruise control for the adapting cruise control is located right here on the right side. And all the way down here on the left of the steering wheel, you have a couple of more buttons. For example, the high beams. And now you can use your light bar if you want to do that when you have the high beams on. And there are also these 3 auxiliary buttons down here, which you can hook up to whatever you want. Down here is the fog light. We talked about this. The fog light button being either amber or white, and you also have the light bar on and off right here when you have the high beams on. So pretty simple layout here. I like the layout overall. I just think the infotainment screen, this thing is just way, way, way too big for this interior. So with that said, let's jump in and have a look at the back seat. This is my driving position. So let's see if I can actually fit behind myself. The Tacoma, if I remember correctly, was pretty tight back here last time I reviewed the TRD Off-Road. You can see just how small the door is. It doesn't feel like it's a proper sized door, but that's what you get with mid-sized trucks like this. So let's jump in here. Me being 6'1", 6'2". The problem I have with the back seat of the Tacoma is that the back seat itself is so upright that it's not going to be very comfortable for a longer road trip, but shorter drives, no problems at all. I don't have a lot of leg space here. You have 2 USBs here, 2 cup holders, in addition to a 12-volt house outlet right there. You can also fold down the back seats, and that gives you some storage, just a little bit of storage behind the seats, in addition to the JBL subwoofer that's located right there. All right, guys, let's go. Let's take the 2024 Toyota Tacoma Trailhunter for a drive, and let's see what this is all about. A lot of power, 326 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque. Not bad at all. It feels super powerful with the hybrid setup that we have here. I don't feel like I need any more power than this. It feels like this is the sweet spot, but you can't get this with the manual, which you can get with the base Toyota Tacoma Off-Road with 270 horsepower or something like that. You can't get that with the manual transmission. So going over this gravel road here, it's pretty bumpy. It's not a super smooth ride going over this road, and it's not a super rugged road either, but it's a lot more, it's of course a lot more capable than just roads like this. I think where this really shines is when you take it up the mountains on big trails up there. Use all these MTS settings or modes that we have here. That is where I think this truck really, really shines. I don't know if you can hear the, the high mounted air intake there. You hear the whistle noise all the time. As soon as you step on the gas, you're gonna hear that breathing there on the passenger A-pillar. Now I think it sounds cool. I like to hear more noises like that. Not sure if it comes out on camera, but it sounds really cool. I like it. It's probably gonna get old after a while, but just having this truck for a week, it doesn't bother me at all. Now, the driving on regular roads like this is extremely comfortable, and that, of course, has to do with this 2.5-inch lift that we have in the front, 1.5 inch in the back, and also these Goodyear alternate tires. But driving it doesn't feel much different on regular roads than a everyday Toyota Tacoma off-road. It feels very, very similar to that. And I think that is just what all Tacoma is going to feel like. Even the TRD Pro is probably going to feel similar to this on regular roads. But it all depends on how you use your truck, obviously. I mean, if you are a serious off-roader, you might want to go for a base TRD off-road and just build it out yourself. It's not going to get you the warranty, though, from Toyota, which you get with this that is already built from factory, and also the TRD Pro. But for everyday use, I would personally probably go with a TRD off-road with the manual and then just build it out myself and just have some fun with that. And also probably, in the end, save a little bit of money on that. So the roads are clear. Let's come to a complete stop here. Let's put it, we have a sport mode, so why not put it in sport? And let's just see what we can do 0 to 60 here. Let's go. And we're up to 60 right there. So I don't know if that was 6 seconds. It's not a very fast truck, but it's an off-road truck. Who cares about 0 to 60 times in a car like this? That is also the reason why I'm a little bit confused why we even have a sport mode in a truck like this. It feels like every single car these days, even if it's a 3-cylinder Mitsubishi Colt or something like that, it always needs to have a sport mode, and to me that just doesn't make sense. I'm gonna lower that window even though the camera is attached on it. Lower it a little bit so maybe you can hear this intake whistle a little bit more. You hear that? It's just extremely loud. It's insanely loud when you have the windows down. But it sounds cool. I mean, I like it. It's a child in me that likes those kind of noises, and I feel like we need more, mechanical noises in cars and trucks today. So let's come onto this highway here. I'm gonna turn that back off, roll that back up because it's so loud, and we're up to 65 there. So the power is definitely there. And I think the torque is definitely going to help you. 465 pound-feet of torque is definitely going to help you when you're rock crawling or doing something like that, doing some proper off-roading for sure. But just driving on the highway like this, super smooth ride. It's actually not a lot of road noise, and that is, the Goodyear Wrangler tires. They've been around for so long. They're very proven to be great off-road and also great on the on-road, with not a lot of noise to them. You can clearly see that here. Not a lot of wind noise either. It's just a comfortable drive, the overall Tacoma lineup. I like it a lot, even though I personally would not spend this much money on a Tacoma. I would just go with the base TRD off-road and build it out myself. So I guess we're gonna have to wait and see if people are actually going to buy this Trailhunter and save a couple of $100 instead of the TRD Pro. It's going to be interesting to see how well this trim is going to sell. I personally really like it. I think it's cool that we have an option now for the TRD Pro that is almost, if not as capable off-road as that one, that is sort of has this special design features to it, such as the utility bar in the back. You have the wheel and tire setup that is specific for the Trailhunter, and also the overall graphics, the colors for this is also specific for the Trailhunter. Even though it is on the pricier side, and even though we do have a TV on the dash here, it's still a great truck. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.